the vast and silent expanse of space, where stars twinkled like distant lanterns and planets drifted lazily in their orbits, an alien species known as the Vraxians prided themselves on being the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. The Vraxians were a race of tall, slender beings with shimmering, translucent skin that glowed faintly in the dark. They had large, unblinking eyes that seemed to pierce through everything they looked at, and their voices carried a cold, mechanical tone that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard them. For centuries they had traveled across the stars, conquering countless worlds and subjugating weaker species without mercy. Their ships were sleek and menacing, bristling with weapons capable of obliterating entire cities in seconds. To the Vraxians, no other species could match their power, intelligence, or technology. Their arrogance knew no bounds. They believed themselves to be gods among lesser beings, destined to rule the universe. And so, when their sensors detected a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star, a planet teeming with life but seemingly primitive, they saw it as yet another opportunity to expand their empire. This planet was Earth, home to humanity. But the Vraxians didn't see humans as equals. To them, humans were little more than ants, insignificant creatures scurrying about on the surface of a rock, unworthy of respect or consideration. The day the Vraxian fleet arrived above Earth remains etched in history as one of both terror and awe. It began with strange lights appearing in the sky, brighter and larger than any star. People around the world stopped what they were doing to gaze upward, their faces filled with wonder and confusion. At first, many thought it was some kind of natural phenomenon, an aurora borealis gone wild, or perhaps a comet passing unusually close to Earth. But soon, the truth became undeniable. Dozens of massive ships descended from the heavens, each one bigger than the tallest skyscraper on Earth. These vessels hovered silently above major cities, casting eerie shadows over streets and buildings. The sheer size of the ships made even the largest human-made structures look tiny in comparison. Panic spread quickly as people realized these weren't friendly visitors. Videos of the ships flooded social media, showing their sleek metallic surfaces glinting in the sunlight. Some people ran for cover while others stood frozen in place, staring up in disbelief. Governments scrambled to respond, but before anyone could take action, a voice boomed across every television, radio, and internet connection on the planet. It was deep, cold, and utterly devoid of emotion. "Earthlings," the voice said, addressing humanity as if speaking to children, "your time has come to bow before us." The speaker identified himself as Commander Xylar, leader of the Vraxian fleet. His words dripped with condescension and superiority. "We are the Vraxians, rulers of countless worlds and masters of the galaxy. Your pitiful attempts at progress have not gone unnoticed, but they pale in comparison to our achievements. Surrender your resources, your technology, and your loyalty, or face annihilation." With that chilling ultimatum, the transmission ended, leaving billions of humans stunned and terrified. For hours after the message, chaos reigned across the globe. Streets emptied as people fled indoors, locking doors and windows in a futile attempt to feel safe. Emergency hotlines were overwhelmed with calls from frightened citizens demanding answers. News anchors struggled to maintain composure as they reported live updates, their voices trembling with fear. Military forces mobilized, scrambling jets and deploying ground troops, though everyone knew conventional weapons would be useless against such advanced invaders. Yet, amidst the panic, there were also whispers of defiance. Social media platforms lit up with memes mocking the Vraxians, showing cartoons of frightened aliens running away from angry humans armed with brooms. While humor might seem trivial in the face of an existential threat, it served a purpose. It gave people hope. It reminded them that humanity had faced impossible odds before and somehow found ways to survive. Deep within underground bunkers, hidden from the prying eyes of the invaders, something stirred. For decades, humans had been preparing not just for war but for survival. Unbeknownst to the cocky Vraxians, Earth was not defenseless. Beneath the surface of Earth lay a network of sprawling facilities, home to the Human Defense Initiative, HDI. This clandestine organization had spent years reverse engineering alien tech recovered from crashed UFOs and developing weapons far beyond anything the public knew existed. Among these marvels were star destroyers, massive spacecraft capable of obliterating entire fleets. These vessels had been kept under wraps, waiting for the day when humanity would need them most. Now, that day had arrived. As the Vraxians gloated about their impending victory, HDI operatives sprang into action. Leaders convened in a high-tech command center buried miles below the Earth's crust. Holographic displays projected images of the alien fleet, tracking their movements and analyzing potential weaknesses. General Elena Carter, a seasoned strategist with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, stood at the forefront of the operation. She addressed her team with a calm yet steely tone. "They think we're weak," she said, her voice carrying authority. "Let them believe it. When the moment comes, we'll show them exactly who they're dealing with." General Carter understood the importance of timing. Attacking too soon could give the Vraxians a chance to regroup or call for reinforcements. Instead, she ordered her forces to remain hidden, allowing the aliens to grow complacent. Meanwhile, ordinary people continued to resist in their own way. Protesters gathered in city squares, holding signs that read, "Not today," and "Go back to space." Even children joined the effort, drawing pictures of heroic humans standing tall against monstrous aliens. Every act of defiance, no matter how small, added fuel to the fire of humanity's spirit. Back in their ships, the Vraxians watched the unfolding events with amusement. Commander Xylar chuckled as he observed footage of protests and memes. "How quaint," he remarked to his crew. "These creatures actually think they can fight back. Let them entertain themselves while we prepare to crush them." He ordered probes and drones to scout the planet, gathering data on Earth's defenses. What they found only reinforced their belief in humanity's inferiority. Cities surrendered one by one, their leaders too afraid to resist. Resistance fighters were quickly rounded up and imprisoned, their efforts deemed futile by the overwhelming might of the Vraxian fleet. But unknown to the invaders, humanity's true strength lay not in its visible actions, but in its hidden preparations. Behind closed doors, scientists worked tirelessly to fine-tune the Star Destroyer's systems. Engineers tested weapon arrays, ensuring they functioned flawlessly. Pilots trained rigorously, simulating combat scenarios to prepare for the inevitable confrontation. Morale remained high despite the dire circumstances, fueled by the knowledge that humanity had never backed down from a challenge. Days turned into weeks, and still, the Vraxians waited. They expected humanity to crumble under the weight of their dominance, but instead, they encountered a stubborn resilience they hadn't anticipated. Commander Xylar grew increasingly frustrated. "Why do they refuse to surrender?" he muttered, pacing the bridge of his flagship. "It would be so much easier for them if they simply accepted their fate." Little did he know, humanity was biding its time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then finally the moment came. As the Vraxians prepared to launch a full-scale invasion, believing Earth's resistance had been neutralized, the skies above the planet split open. Not literally but figuratively, as hundreds of colossal structures emerged from beneath the atmosphere. Star destroyers gleaming in silver and gold rose majestically into orbit, dwarfing the alien ships and bristling with weapon systems that pulsed with energy. The sight sent shockwaves through the Vraxian fleet, shattering their confidence and replacing it with fear. Commander Xylar stared at the monitors, his jaw dropping in disbelief. "What is this?" he stammered, his voice trembling for the first time. His crew frantically tried to analyze the new threat, but their sensors couldn't penetrate the advanced shielding surrounding the human ships. Panic rippled through the ranks as the realization dawned. They had severely underestimated their opponent. General Carter's voice echoed through the comms, calm but firm. "Attention, Vraxian forces. You have trespassed on our world, threatened our people, and insulted our intelligence. Leave now, or prepare to face consequences you cannot comprehend." Her words hung in the air, a stark warning that left no room for negotiation. The battle lines had been drawn, and humanity was ready to prove that it was anything but weak. Thus began the turning point in Earth's history, a moment when humanity stood united, determined to protect its home against all odds. The Vraxians had made a grave mistake in underestimating the resolve of the human spirit, and soon they would learn the hard way that messing with Earth came at a price far greater than they could imagine. As the Star Destroyers emerged from their hidden bases beneath Earth's surface, humanity held its breath. For decades, the Human Defense Initiative, HDI, had operated in secrecy, working tirelessly to prepare for a day like this. These massive spacecraft, each one larger than the tallest skyscraper on Earth, were the culmination of years of research, innovation, and sacrifice. They weren't just machines. They were symbols of humanity's resilience, creativity, and refusal to bow to any force that sought to dominate them. Yet, until now, they had remained shrouded in mystery, known only to a select few within the HDI. The Star Destroyers were marvels of engineering, designed not only to defend but also to strike fear into the hearts of anyone foolish enough to threaten Earth. Their sleek exteriors gleamed with polished silver and gold plating, reflecting sunlight in dazzling bursts as they ascended into orbit. Each ship was equipped with advanced weaponry, antimatter cannons capable of tearing through even the strongest shields, particle beam arrays that could slice enemy vessels in half, and EMP generators powerful enough to disable entire fleets. But perhaps their most impressive feature was their shielding system, a cutting-edge technology reverse-engineered from alien artifacts recovered over the years. This shield rendered the ships nearly invulnerable, deflecting attacks that would have obliterated lesser vessels. Commander Xylar and his crew aboard the Vraxian flagship watched in stunned silence as these behemoths appeared in the sky. The sheer size of the human ships dwarfed the Vraxian cruisers, which had once seemed so imposing. Panic rippled through the alien fleet as officers scrambled to assess the situation. "How is this possible?" Xylar demanded, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. "Our intelligence report said nothing about weapons of this magnitude." His subordinates exchanged worried glances, unable to provide answers. For the first time since setting out on their conquest of Earth, doubt crept into their minds. Back in the HDI command center, General Elena Carter stood at the helm, her expression calm yet resolute. She had spent years preparing for this moment, and now it was finally here. Around her, technicians monitored screens displaying real-time data on the Vraxian fleet's movements. Holographic projections showed the positions of both human and alien ships, mapping out potential strategies for engagement. Despite the gravity of the situation, there was an air of quiet confidence among the team. They had trained for this. They had prepared for this, and now they were ready. General Carter addressed her team, her voice steady and commanding. "This isn't just about protecting Earth," she said, her eyes scanning the room. "It's about sending a message to the Vraxians and to anyone else out there who thinks they can walk all over us. We will not be bullied. We will not back down. Today we show them what happens when you mess with humanity." Her words resonated deeply with everyone present. Many of the operatives had lost loved ones during the initial invasion, families torn apart by fear, cities brought to their knees by the Vraxians' arrogance. Now, they had a chance to fight back, not just for themselves, but for every person on the planet. As orders were relayed to the Star Destroyer captains, the human fleet began to move with precision, positioning itself strategically around the Vraxian armada. Meanwhile, on Earth, ordinary people continued to resist in their own ways. Social media platforms buzzed with activity as citizens shared videos, memes, and messages of defiance. One particularly popular post featured a cartoon of a burly human farmer wielding a pitchfork, standing defiantly against a group of cowering aliens. The caption read, "You picked the wrong planet, buddy." Another viral video showed a young girl holding up a sign that read, "Go home, space bullies," while her dog barked fiercely at the sky. Humor might seem trivial in the face of an existential threat, but it served as a reminder that humanity refused to be intimidated. Even in the darkest moments, laughter became a weapon, a way to reclaim power and maintain hope. But humor wasn't the only form of resistance. In cities around the world, underground networks sprang into action, coordinating efforts to sabotage the Vraxian occupation. Resistance fighters hacked into alien communication systems, spreading misinformation and disrupting their operations. Others set traps, using makeshift explosives to disable drones and ground vehicles. While these acts might not have matched the scale of the Star Destroyer's capabilities, they demonstrated humanity's resourcefulness and determination to fight back however they could. Above Earth, the tension between the two fleets reached a breaking point. Commander Xylar, still reeling from the shock of seeing the human Star Destroyers, attempted to regain control of the situation. He ordered his ships to fire warning shots, hoping to intimidate the humans into retreating. Plasma torpedoes streaked through space, aimed directly at the nearest Star Destroyer. But to the Vraxians' horror, the projectiles simply dissipated, harmlessly against the shimmering energy shields. Not a single dent marred the surface of the human vessels. Xylar clenched his fists, frustration boiling over. "Fire everything," he barked, his voice cracking with desperation. "Show them the true power of the Vraxian Empire." The order was carried out immediately, and the alien fleet unleashed a barrage of laser cannons and missile salvos. Explosions lit up the void of space as beams of energy crisscrossed between the ships. But no matter how many shots they fired, the human Star Destroyers remained unscathed. Their shields absorbed every attack, glowing brighter with each impact. "General," Carter observed the futile assault with a grim smile. "They're panicking," she said to her second-in-command, Major Alex Rivera. "Good. Let them waste their resources. When we strike, it'll be decisive." And strike they did. With a single command from General Carter, the Star Destroyers opened fire. Antimatter missiles streaked across the battlefield, homing in on their targets with deadly accuracy. The first wave struck a Vraxian cruiser head-on, obliterating it in a blinding flash of light. Debris scattered in all directions, tumbling through the vacuum of space. A second missile hit another ship moments later, splitting it in half. The Vraxian fleet, once so confident and organized, descended into chaos as more and more of their vessels were destroyed. On board the remaining Vraxian ships, panic spread like wildfire. Officers shouted conflicting orders, while crew members scrambled to abandon their posts. Some tried to flee only to find their escape routes blocked by the encircling human fleet. Others begged for mercy, transmitting desperate pleas for surrender. But the humans didn't relent. Every shot fired by the Star Destroyers found its mark, reducing the once mighty Vraxian armada to smoldering wreckage. Commander Xylar stared at the carnage unfolding before him, his mind racing. How had it come to this? How had a species he had dismissed as primitive managed to turn the table so completely? He realized now that he had made a catastrophic error in underestimating humanity. Their ingenuity, their adaptability, their sheer will to survive. All of these qualities had been overlooked because of their outward appearance. To the Vraxians, humans had seemed weak and insignificant. But looks, as Xylar now understood, could be deceiving. With his fleet crumbling around him, Xylar knew he had no choice but to retreat. "Signal the remaining ships," he ordered, his voice shaking. "We need to leave, now." Desperation clawed at his throat as he gave the command to withdraw. But even as the surviving Vraxian vessels attempted to flee, the Star Destroyers closed in, boxing them in like predators cornering prey. General Carter's voice crackled over the comms, addressing the remnants of the Vraxian fleet. "Attention, invaders," she said, her tone cold and authoritative. "You came to our world uninvited, threatened our people, and insulted our intelligence. Now you will answer for your actions. Surrender unconditionally or prepare to face total annihilation." For a moment there was silence. Then, slowly, the surviving Vraxian ships powered down their weapons and transmitted a message of surrender. It was a humiliating defeat, one that Commander Xylar would carry with him for the rest of his life. As the last of the alien fleet limped away from Earth, broadcasting warnings to other civilizations about the dangers of provoking humanity, General Carter allowed herself a small smile. The battle was won, but the war for Earth's future was far from over. In the aftermath of the conflict, humanity celebrated its victory, Streets erupted in cheers as people poured outside waving flags and singing songs of triumph. News outlets hailed the HDI as heroes, crediting them with saving the planet from certain doom. Scientists marveled at the technological leap humanity had achieved, while politicians vowed to ensure such an invasion would never happen again. But amidst the jubilation, General Carter remained cautious. She knew this victory didn't mean the end of threats from beyond the stars. It simply proved that humanity was ready to defend itself. From that day forward, the phrase "don't mess with humans" became legendary, whispered among alien races as both a warning and a testament to the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to back down. The Vraxians had learned the hard way that underestimating humanity came at a steep price. And though peace had been restored, for now, the galaxy now understood one undeniable truth. Earth was not a planet to be trifled with. As the remnants of the Vraxian fleet retreated into the depths of space, their once mighty armada reduced to a handful of battered ships, humanity stood united in triumph. The Star Destroyers, gleaming victoriously in orbit, had proven themselves to be more than just machines. They were symbols of humanity's ingenuity and determination. But even as celebrations erupted across Earth, the leaders of the Human Defense Initiative, HDI, knew that this victory was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast and there were countless other civilizations out there, some peaceful, others hostile. Earth had sent a message loud and clear: mess with humanity and you'll pay the price. Yet the question remained, what next? General Elena Carter gathered her senior officers in the command center, now quieter but still humming with activity. Screens displayed real-time data on the retreating Vraxians, ensuring they didn't attempt any last-ditch attacks. Holographic projections mapped out potential threats beyond Earth's solar system, highlighting regions where alien activity had been detected in the past. The room buzzed with cautious optimism. Humanity had survived its first major interstellar conflict, but General Carter wasn't about to let her guard down. "We've won this battle," she began, addressing her team with a tone that blended pride and pragmatism. "But we can't afford to get complacent. The Vraxians will spread word of what happened here. Other species might see us as a threat or an opportunity. Either way, we need to be ready." Her words resonated deeply with everyone present. Major Alex Rivera nodded thoughtfully, his sharp eyes scanning the holograms. "They underestimated us because they saw weakness," he said. "Now, we have to make sure no one makes that mistake again." To achieve this, the HDI launched Operation Sentinel, a global initiative aimed at strengthening Earth's defenses while expanding its reach into space. The Star Destroyers, which had played such a pivotal role in defeating the Vraxians, became the cornerstone of this effort. Engineers worked around the clock to upgrade their systems, incorporating lessons learned from the recent battle. New weapons were developed, including experimental railguns capable of firing projectiles at near light speeds. Advanced AI algorithms were integrated into the ship's navigation systems, allowing them to operate with unparalleled precision. Meanwhile, construction began on additional Star Destroyers, ensuring Earth would never face another invasion unprepared. But technology alone wouldn't guarantee humanity's survival. Recognizing this, the HDI also focused on fostering unity among Earth's nations. For decades, humanity had been divided by borders, ideologies, and conflicts. The arrival of the Vraxians, however, had forced people to set aside their differences and work together for a common goal. Leaders from every corner of the globe convened at the United Nations headquarters in New York, pledging cooperation in the face of extraterrestrial threats. A new council, dubbed the Global Defense Alliance, GDA, was formed to oversee Earth's security efforts. Its members included representatives from all major countries, ensuring decisions would reflect the needs of humanity as a whole. The formation of the GDA marked a turning point in human history. For the first time, Earth truly acted as one planet, united not by fear but by hope. Ambassadors shared resources, intelligence, and strategies, pooling their strengths to create a defense network unlike anything the world had ever seen. Scientists collaborated on groundbreaking projects, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Artists and storytellers captured the spirit of resilience, creating works that inspired future generations to carry the torch of progress. While governments and organizations worked behind the scenes, ordinary people continued to play a vital role in shaping Earth's new identity. Social media platforms became hubs of innovation and creativity, with users sharing ideas on how to improve life both on Earth and beyond. Some proposed building sustainable habitats on the Moon or Mars, envisioning colonies where humans could thrive even if disaster struck their home planet. Others advocated for education reform, emphasizing the importance of teaching science, engineering, and critical thinking skills to prepare young minds for the challenges ahead. Memes mocking the Vraxians gave way to discussions about ethics, diplomacy, and coexistence with alien species. Humanity realized that surviving in the cosmos required more than brute force. It demanded wisdom, empathy, and a willingness to learn. Amidst these developments, the HDI made another bold decision: to send emissaries into deep space. Using modified Star Destroyers equipped with long-range communication arrays, teams of diplomats, scientists, and explorers ventured beyond Earth's solar system. Their mission was twofold: to gather information about neighboring civilizations and to establish contact with those who sought peaceful relations. These missions weren't without risk, as unknown dangers lurked in the dark void of space. But the rewards far outweighed the perils. By reaching out to others, humanity hoped to build bridges rather than walls, proving that it was not just a warrior race but also a compassionate one. One such mission led to an unexpected discovery. In a distant star system, the emissaries encountered a civilization known as the Kalari. Unlike the Vraxians, the Kalari were peaceful beings who valued knowledge and harmony above all else. They lived in massive, floating cities suspended within the rings of a gas giant, harnessing energy from their environment in ways that baffled human scientists. When the emissaries explained why they had come, the Kalari expressed sympathy for humanity's plight. They offered to share their technology, particularly in areas like renewable energy and medical advancements, in exchange for cultural exchanges and mutual understanding. This alliance proved transformative. With the Kalari's help, humanity accelerated its technological growth, solving problems that had once seemed insurmountable. Diseases that had plagued millions were eradicated thanks to advanced treatments derived from Kalari biology. Climate change, long considered Earth's greatest existential threat, was mitigated through innovative solutions inspired by the aliens' sustainable practices. Perhaps most importantly, the partnership fostered a sense of camaraderie between two vastly different species, demonstrating that cooperation could yield results far greater than conflict. Back on Earth, the impact of these changes rippled through society. Cities transformed into vibrant hubs of innovation, blending traditional architecture with futuristic designs. Skyscrapers powered by clean energy sources dotted urban landscapes, while green spaces flourished amidst bustling streets. Education systems evolved to prioritize curiosity and collaboration, nurturing a generation of thinkers who viewed challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Art and culture thrived, reflecting humanity's renewed sense of purpose and optimism. Yet despite these advances, not everyone embraced the shift. Some groups resisted the integration of alien technologies, fearing it would erode human identity. Conspiracy theories spread online, claiming the HDI and GDA were conspiring to replace national governments with a single oppressive regime. Protests erupted in several cities, demanding transparency and accountability. While these dissenting voices represented a minority, they highlighted the complexities of navigating a rapidly changing world. General Carter understood the importance of addressing these concerns. She held press conferences, explaining the rationale behind each decision and emphasizing the need for collective action. "We're not abandoning our roots," she told reporters during one such event. "We're building upon them. Humanity has always adapted to survive, and today we're adapting to thrive." Her words resonated with many, helping to ease tensions and foster trust. Slowly but surely, skeptics began to see the benefits of the new era. Farmers adopted Kaolari-inspired irrigation techniques, boosting crop yields and reducing water waste. Entrepreneurs leveraged alien materials to create products that revolutionized industries. Even artists found inspiration in the unfamiliar aesthetics of alien art, producing works that bridged worlds. As years passed, Earth blossomed into a beacon of progress and resilience. The scars left by the Vraxian invasion faded, replaced by monuments celebrating humanity's triumph and unity. Museums showcased artifacts recovered from the battle, reminding visitors of the sacrifices made to secure their freedom. Schools taught children about the events that had shaped their world, instilling in them a sense of pride and responsibility. But perhaps the most profound change occurred within humanity itself. No longer confined to a single planet, humans began to see themselves as part of something larger, a cosmic tapestry woven from countless threads. They looked to the stars not with fear but with wonder, eager to explore the mysteries that awaited them. And though challenges undoubtedly lay ahead, they faced them with courage, knowing they had already overcome the impossible. In the end, the story of humanity's encounter with the Vraxians wasn't just about war or survival, it was about growth. It was about learning to stand tall in the face of adversity, to adapt and evolve, and to embrace the unknown with open arms. The galaxy had underestimated Earth once, and it would never make that mistake again. For humanity had proven itself to be more than just survivors. They were dreamers, builders, and pioneers ready to carve their place among the stars. The aftermath of the Vraxian defeat marked not just a turning point for humanity, but also a profound shift in its collective consciousness. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Earth was no longer a planet to be trifled with. Yet this newfound reputation came with consequences, both expected and unforeseen. As humanity ventured further into space, it found itself navigating a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and moral dilemmas. The battle against the Vraxians might have been won, but the war for humanity's place among the stars was far from over. A galaxy watching closely. News of the Vraxian humiliation spread quickly across the galaxy, carried by surviving crew members and intercepted transmissions. Other alien species, who had once dismissed Earth as insignificant, now viewed it with a mix of awe, fear, and curiosity. Some races saw humanity as a potential ally, a scrappy underdog that had stood up to one of the most ruthless civilizations in the cosmos. Others regarded Earth with suspicion, wary of its rapid technological advancements and unpredictable nature. And then there were those who saw an opportunity to exploit, conquer, or even destroy this emerging power before it grew too strong. One such group was the Krillians, a militaristic race known for their brutal efficiency and insatiable hunger for territory. Unlike the Vraxians, whose arrogance blinded them to humanity's capabilities, the Krillians approached Earth with calculated precision. They dispatched reconnaissance drones disguised as asteroids to gather intelligence on human defenses. Their leaders studied footage of the Star Destroyers annihilating the Vraxian fleet, analyzing every move, every tactic, searching for weaknesses. What they found disturbed them. Humanity wasn't just resourceful, it was adaptive. The Krillians knew that attacking Earth directly would be suicide. Instead, they opted for a subtler strategy: divide and conquer. Sabotage from within. While humanity celebrated its victory and focused on rebuilding, cracks began to form within its newly forged unity. Not everyone agreed with the decisions made by the Global Defense Alliance, GDA. Dissent simmered beneath the surface, fueled by misinformation campaigns orchestrated by the Krillians. Fake news articles, doctored videos, and anonymous posts flooded social media platforms, sowing discord among nations. These messages questioned the authority of the GDA, accusing it of hoarding resources and prioritizing wealthy countries over poorer ones. Conspiracy theories claimed that the HDI was secretly planning to establish a global dictatorship, using the threat of alien invasions as justification. In some regions, protests turned violent. Angry mobs stormed government buildings, demanding answers and accountability. In others, Separatist movements gained traction, calling for independence from what they perceived as an oppressive regime. Even trusted allies within the GDA started questioning whether centralized control was truly the best path forward. The Krillians watched with satisfaction as divisions widened, knowing that a fractured humanity would be easier to manipulate or eliminate. General Elena Carter recognized the danger early on. She convened an emergency meeting with her senior staff, including Major Alex Rivera and Dr. Priya Malik, the lead scientist overseeing Earth's technological development. "This isn't coincidence," she said, pointing to reports of coordinated cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure. "Someone is trying to destabilize us from within." Dr. Malik nodded grimly. "It's sophisticated work," she added. "Whoever is behind this understands our systems better than we thought possible." After days of investigation, the HDI traced the attacks back to the Krillians. Using advanced algorithms and quantum decryption tools, analysts uncovered evidence of covert operatives embedded in key industries and political organizations. These agents had been feeding false information to influential figures, exploiting existing tensions to create chaos. It was a masterstroke of psychological warfare, one designed to weaken humanity without firing a single shot. Uniting against a common enemy. Faced with this new threat, General Carter knew she had to act decisively. She called for an emergency summit of the GDA, bringing together representatives from all member nations. The atmosphere in the chamber was tense, with delegates arguing passionately about how to address the growing unrest. Some advocated for increased surveillance and stricter regulations, while others pushed for transparency and dialogue. Amidst the heated debates, Carter stood up, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. "We're tearing ourselves apart," she said, her tone firm but measured. "And that's exactly what the Krillians want. If we let fear and mistrust divide us, we'll lose everything we've fought so hard to protect." Her words struck a chord. Slowly, the room fell silent, as delegates absorbed the gravity of her message. One by one, they began to speak, not to argue, but to listen. For the first time in weeks, humanity remembered why it had come together in the first place: survival. Together, they devised a plan to counteract the Krillian sabotage. First, the HDI launched Operation Unity, a campaign aimed at restoring trust and fostering cooperation. Public service announcements aired globally, debunking conspiracy theories and highlighting the importance of solidarity. Community leaders organized town halls, encouraging open discussions about fears and concerns. Schools introduced curriculums focused on critical thinking, teaching students how to identify misinformation and propaganda. At the same time, cybersecurity teams worked tirelessly to root out Krillian operatives, neutralizing their influence piece by piece. Second, the GDA doubled down on diplomatic efforts, reaching out to neighboring civilizations for support. The alliance with the Kailari proved invaluable during this period. With their help, humanity developed advanced encryption protocols to safeguard communications and detect intrusions. Kailari diplomats also mediated talks between Earth and other neutral species, building a coalition committed to maintaining peace in the galaxy. Finally, the HDI prepared for the possibility of direct conflict. Star Destroyer fleets conducted drills in deep space, simulating scenarios involving multiple hostile forces. Engineers designed modular upgrades, allowing ships to adapt to different combat situations. Pilots trained rigorously, honing their skills in zero-gravity environments. Every aspect of Earth's defense strategy was scrutinized and refined, ensuring readiness for whatever challenges lay ahead. The first encounter. Despite these preparations, the Krillians struck sooner than expected. A massive armada appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, blocking trade routes and cutting off communication with allied planets. Their flagship, a colossal vessel bristling with weapons, broadcast a chilling ultimatum: submit to Krillian, rule or face annihilation. Commander Jaxor, leader of the Krillian fleet, sneered as he addressed humanity. "You defeated the Vraxians, yes?" he said, his voice dripping with contempt. "But you are still children playing with toys you don't fully understand." Surrender now, and we will spare your lives. Resist, and you will suffer the same fate as your enemies. His words echoed across Earth, sparking outrage and defiance. Protesters gathered in city squares holding signs that read, "Never again," and "Freedom or Death." Social media exploded with messages of solidarity, reminding people of the sacrifices made to secure their freedom. Even skeptics who had doubted the GDA rallied behind the cause, recognizing that surrender was not an option. General Carter wasted no time responding. Standing aboard the bridge of the Eclipse, Earth's flagship Star Destroyer, she delivered a fiery rebuttal. "We've faced bullies before," she declared, her voice carrying both strength and resolve. "And we've shown them what happens when they underestimate us. Leave our solar system immediately, or prepare to meet the same end as the Vraxians." With that, the battle began. A clash of titans. The ensuing fight was unlike anything humanity, or the galaxy, had ever seen. The Krillians relied on brute force, deploying swarms of fighter craft and launching barrages of plasma torpedoes. But Earth's Star Destroyers countered with precision and strategy, using their superior technology to outmaneuver and outgun the enemy. Railguns fired projectiles at near-light speeds, piercing through Krillian shields with ease. EMP generators disabled entire squadrons of fighters, leaving them adrift in space. Meanwhile, AI-controlled drones darted through the battlefield, targeting weak points in the Krillian formation. For hours, the two fleets clashed in a dazzling display of light and destruction. Explosions lit up the void, sending shockwaves rippling through the darkness. Despite their numerical advantage, the Krillians found themselves overwhelmed by humanity's ingenuity and determination. Ship after ship fell to the relentless assault of the Star Destroyers, until only Commander Jaxer's flagship remained. Cornered and desperate, Jaxer attempted to flee, ordering his crew to activate a prototype warp drive. But the humans anticipated this move. Using data provided by the Kailari, engineers had developed a device capable of disrupting warp fields. As the Krillian flagship tried to escape, a pulse of energy surged through space, disabling its engines. Trapped and powerless, Jaxer had no choice but to surrender. A new era dawns. The defeat of the Krillians sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Species that had once viewed Earth with suspicion now approached it with respect and caution. Diplomatic envoys arrived daily, seeking partnerships and offering assistance. Trade A. The defeat of the Krillians marked a turning point not just for humanity, but for the galaxy as a whole. Earth had proven itself to be more than a mere footnote in the annals of cosmic history. It was now a force to be reckoned with. The lessons learned from these conflicts shaped humanity's future, guiding it toward a path of growth, cooperation, and responsibility. Yet this newfound status came with challenges that tested the limits of human ingenuity, morality, and unity. As the years passed, humanity's journey among the stars became a story of triumphs and struggles, resilience and reflection. Building bridges across the stars. In the wake of the Krillian conflict, Earth emerged as a beacon of hope. For smaller, less advanced civilizations threatened by aggressive neighbors, word spread quickly about how humanity had stood its ground against two major powers, the arrogant Vraxians and the ruthless Krillians, and emerged victorious without resorting to oppression or conquest. This reputation attracted delegations from distant star systems, each seeking alliances, trade agreements, or simply advice on surviving in an often hostile universe. One such delegation came from the Lumari, a peaceful species whose home planet orbited a dying star. The Lumari were technologically advanced but lacked the resources needed to relocate their population to safer worlds. They approached Earth with humility, offering cultural exchanges and scientific knowledge in exchange for assistance. General Helena Carter saw this as an opportunity not only to help, but also to learn. Under her guidance, teams of engineers, scientists, and diplomats collaborated with the Lumari to design sustainable habitats capable of supporting life under extreme conditions. This partnership yielded groundbreaking innovations. By combining Lumari expertise in energy conservation with human advancements in construction and materials science, both species developed technologies that could transform barren moons into thriving colonies. These breakthroughs benefited not only the Lumari, but also humanity, which began establishing outposts on Mars, Europa, and Titan. For the first time, Earthlings looked beyond their home planet and envisioned a future where humans could thrive across multiple worlds. But building bridges wasn't always easy. Some alien species viewed humanity's rise with suspicion, fearing it might grow too powerful too quickly. Others resented Earth's newfound prominence, seeing it as a threat to their dominance. Diplomacy became a delicate balancing act, requiring patience, empathy, and sometimes tough decisions. The Global Defense Alliance, GDA, established embassies on key planets, staffed by trained negotiators who worked tirelessly to foster goodwill while safeguarding humanity's interests. The shadow of power. As humanity expanded its influence, it faced difficult questions about the responsibilities that came with power. The same technological prowess that had saved Earth from invasion raised ethical dilemmas. Should Earth intervene when weaker civilizations were attacked by stronger ones? Could it justify using force to protect allies, even if doing so risked escalating regional conflicts? And perhaps most importantly, how could humanity ensure it didn't repeat the mistakes of those it had fought against? These issues came to a head during the Zorathian crisis. The Zorathians, a nomadic race known for raiding resource-rich planets, targeted a peaceful agricultural world called Lyria. Lyria's leaders pleaded with Earth for protection, citing the GDA's promise to uphold justice and stability in the galaxy. General Carter convened an emergency council meeting to discuss the matter. Opinions were divided. Some argued that intervention would set a dangerous precedent, encouraging other vulnerable species to depend on Earth rather than develop their own defenses. Others believed standing idly by would betray humanity's values and tarnish its hard-earned reputation. Ultimately, Carter decided to send a diplomatic envoy alongside a small fleet of star destroyers. Her goal was clear: diplomacy first, combat as a last resort. When the Zorathians refused to withdraw, however, the situation escalated. A brief skirmish ensued, ending with the Zorathians retreating after suffering minimal losses. While the outcome preserved Lyria's safety, it sparked heated debates within the GDA and across Earth. Critics accused the HDI of overstepping its bounds, while supporters praised the decision as necessary to maintain order. The incident forced humanity to confront uncomfortable truths about its role in the galaxy. Was it destined to become another imperial power, imposing its will on others? Or could it chart a different course, one rooted in compassion, fairness, and mutual respect? These questions lingered long after the crisis ended, shaping policies and philosophies for generations to come. Challenges at home. While humanity's reach extended further into space, challenges persisted back on Earth. Despite the unity forged during the Vraxian and Krillian conflicts, old divisions resurfaced as societal changes accelerated. The rapid integration of alien technologies disrupted traditional industries, leaving millions unemployed. Cities transformed into futuristic hubs of innovation, but rural areas struggled to keep pace, widening the gap between urban and rural populations. Political tensions flared as governments grappled with how best to allocate resources and address inequality. To tackle these issues, the GDA launched initiatives aimed at fostering inclusivity and sustainability. Educational programs taught skills relevant to the new economy, preparing workers for careers in fields like robotics, AI, and interstellar engineering. Investments in renewable energy ensured that no community was left behind as Earth transitioned to cleaner, more efficient systems. Grassroots movements encouraged collaboration between nations, emphasizing shared goals over individual gains. Art and culture played vital roles in bridging divides. Filmmakers, musicians, and writers drew inspiration from humanity's cosmic adventures, creating works that celebrated diversity and resilience. Museums showcased artifacts from Earth's battles and alliances, reminding visitors of the sacrifices made to secure their freedom. Schools incorporated lessons about diplomacy, ethics, and the importance of preserving human identity in an increasingly interconnected galaxy. Exploration beyond limits. With its defenses secured and its society adapting to change, humanity turned its gaze outward once again. Starships equipped with faster-than-light drives ventured deeper into uncharted territory, seeking answers to age-old questions. Are we alone? What lies beyond the edge of the galaxy? How did the universe begin? And what is our place within it? One expedition led to a discovery that would redefine everything humanity thought it knew. In a remote sector of space, explorers stumbled upon an ancient structure, a massive ring-like artifact floating silently amidst a field of debris. Initial scans suggested it was millions of years old, predating any known civilization. Scientists theorized it might be a gateway, left behind by an enigmatic race referred to as the Precursors. Attempts to activate the artifact proved challenging, requiring insights from multiple species, including the Kailari and the Lumari. After months of collaboration, researchers succeeded in triggering the device, revealing a portal leading to another part of the universe. Through the gateway lay a breathtaking vista, a vibrant nebula teeming with life, surrounded by planets, rich in resources and potential. The discovery ignited a wave of excitement and trepidation. Humanity now stood on the threshold of a new frontier, one filled with endless possibilities and unknown dangers. Would they approach this new realm with humility and curiosity, or would greed and ambition lead them astray? The choice rested in their hands. A legacy among the stars. Decades later, humanity reflected on its journey, from a fledgling species defending its home to a galactic power shaping the destiny of countless worlds. Monuments erected in honor of fallen heroes served as reminders of the sacrifices made along the way. Leaders spoke of peace, progress, and coexistence, urging future generations to carry forward the torch of unity. Yet, the greatest legacy humanity left behind was not its technology, alliances, or achievements. It was the indomitable spirit that had carried it through every trial. From the streets of Earth to the farthest reaches of space, humans demonstrated time and again that they were capable of greatness when united by a common purpose. As starships continued to explore the cosmos, carrying the hopes and dreams of billions, one truth remained undeniable. Humanity belonged among the stars. It had earned its place not through domination or fear, but through courage, creativity, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. And though challenges undoubtedly lay ahead, humanity faced them with open hearts and steadfast resolve, ready to write the next chapter of its extraordinary story.